Hi guys, thanks for joining me on this webinar. My name is Derek Gallimore and this is the Outsourcing Solutions for Your Business webinar. Okay, today, first of all, thanks so much for joining me here, and I want this to be about you today, and so I want this to be interactive and maybe even a little bit fun so that you can take something away. Also, if there's something that I hope for you out of this today, it is that you just have at least one takeaway, or that you just take action and begin your outsourcing journey. I really do think that the best thing is just to get started on outsourcing. Even if you're a startup, just set that foundation, because it really is a lot simpler than you might think, and the rewards really are huge. So let's get started. First of all, just running over the structure for today, we've got a quick introduction. I'm going to introduce me and some quick housekeeping. We can then do a warm-up looking into the world as it's changing and new opportunities. Then we look at the key explorations. Okay, these are the sort of key learnings and technical things that we cover today. And then we look at the takeaway and the open discussion and Q&A at the end. Okay, you can see all of the comments here. Hi Damien, and hi Chloe, and hi Russell. Please, say hi John. I'm super amazed that you're all here and grateful, but I want to give you back value. At the end, there is a special offer, so stay tuned for that, and that is only available for you on this webinar today, and that has a 24-hour time lapse. Okay, so there's a great special, so stay for the end. So initially, I just want to introduce myself quickly. My name is Derek Gallimore of Outsource Accelerator. I founded Outsource Accelerator in response to the need to get more SMEs, more business owners like yourselves involved in outsourcing, because it really is a game changer. Okay, so there isn't enough independent, there's no information hubs out there for people such as yourselves, so that I can close that knowledge gap, so that I can close the comfort gap, so that more people can move into outsourcing and integrate it more easily into their business. So that's why I started Outsource Accelerator. That's why we're here tonight. So a little bit about my background. I have been in business 20 years. I have been outsourcing in some shape or another in the Philippines for over 6 years now, and I've been living in the Philippines for but spending most of my time here for over 3 years now. Okay, nearly 4 years. I've been in business a long time. At 17, I started a first personal training company, and by 24, I was buying investment properties. Here are a couple of snapshots of, I was in a Young Millionaires article when I was around about 26, and I've been on a few news programs discussing various things. The businesses I've been in cover kind of everything from property to e-commerce, and also standard bricks and mortar businesses. One of my bigger businesses, I bootstrapped a $20 million business, or $20 million revenues. And of course, I've tasted failure. I have been on the roller coaster of entrepreneurship. And you learn a huge amount from the wins, but also the losses. There is an article, the Quora article, that I can link to here if you want to read all about my history, if you're inclined to do that. So, of course, here's a couple more happy snaps, and down the bottom here is a small nascent team that I had when I first started outsourcing in the Philippines. And of course, now there is the Inside Outsourcing blueprint that hopefully all of you have got by now. If you don't have the Inside Outsourcing blueprint, then please download that from our website. Okay, so why am I in the Philippines? Basically because the Philippines is young, vibrant, and it has huge growth. There is a BPO boom in the Philippines, and it is a win-win for all. So that is why I'm so passionate about the Philippines, but also about outsourcing in the Philippines, and also about encouraging more business owners such as yourselves, even if you're a startup, even if you're a COO, if it's not your business, I'm encouraging as many people to consider outsourcing as possible. Okay, so let's get on to housekeeping. Please ask questions anytime. Okay, just type them into the comments there. I am recording this, obviously, so I will respond to each of your comments. Okay, I can't respond to each of them now. I'm sorry about that, Tammy, but I will certainly reply back to all of you. Okay, so keep those questions coming, and certainly at the end, we're going to have a Q&A. This is a recorded webinar, so we will send this to you on completion. Notes and any links are all provided at the end and on an email after completion. Okay, so you can spend time watching me instead of needing to take notes, but do whatever makes you happy. We do have a special offer at the end, which is super exciting. And I really encourage you to hold on to the end to see what that is, okay? There's a lot of learning in here. And also, for those of you, you have shown a great effort to come here, so I want to reward you for that, okay? And of course, at the end, there is the interactive Q&A. So let's get straight into it. So the first section I want to cover is just the history and background of outsourcing. So here we go. The world is fast changing. Soon, as you see in this picture, driving cars are going to be ubiquitous. They're going to be everywhere, okay? This was just fantasy only a few years ago, and now they're predicting it's going to happen. The technology's there, but it's going to happen within sort of a short amount of time. Because of that, technology is hugely disrupting this world, okay? They reckon driverless cars will trash about 5 million jobs in the US alone. Okay, the driving is one of the highest employers in the US. AI, which is artificial intelligence, they have now got them performing paralegal duties, so legal research. They've got them doing medical duties, and they've got them also composing Mozart. So, musical orchestrations better than Mozart. Okay, so already AI is getting so powerful. It is very narrow intelligence still. It's not broad intelligence like human intelligence, but the march of AI really is happening fast. Newspapers now, a lot of the finance articles or the finance columns reporting on the markets moving up and down, these are written by robots, okay? They are today. So all of you out there looking for content strategies, think whether a robot could be writing the articles for your blog, because this is already happening, okay? So I just want to give you a sense that the world is fast changing, and, there is an inevitability about this. So what about the workplace? Okay, if the world is fast changing, then so too is the employment environment. Okay, now we've heard maybe for the last 10, 15 years a lot about this remote workers, but it doesn't just stop there. Technology enables so much, and it changes so much. Okay, now you no longer have corner stores. Nothing needs to be constrained domestically. Previously, when people started businesses, you traded within your hometown. This is no longer the case because you are unbound now by geography, by borders, and really any business, anything you are doing, maybe unless you're mowing lawns, then it can be truly international. And it's almost an international by default. And if you are mowing lawns, then even that, outsourcing can help you with that. But also we can help you with a bit of kind of blue ocean thinking in making your lawn mowing business an international business. It really is so easy now with the enablement of technology. I've gone into the next point there, but diminishing borders and trade, that is absolutely the case. And of course, there are no jobs for life. More jobs are moving into a contract basis, an informal basis, and a temporary project type basis. So big changes are happening both, well, in the world we live in, but also the employment sector. So as the world becomes one place, we're going to see a lot of culture homogenization. We're going to see geographical confinement removed, and we're going to see border and taxation becoming not irrelevant, but really having to morph to adapt to this new world that we live in. And really, the governments aren't able to keep up with the fast pace of technology at this stage. They will eventually keep up in some form. So old media is largely dead. We now have social media. The old newspapers are gone. The old TV channels are gone. The way of producing TV content is gone. Now we have huge sort of lean towards social media. People are creating their own content. The old story of Facebook is the biggest media channel, but they don't actually produce any content. There is a huge culture towards social media being the mantle for consumption, for communicating, for purchasing. So, everything is kind of happening online now, okay? And it's within these social media kind of environments that almost create a new world kind of mall, okay? So things are really fast changing. I just want to kind of briefly cover that, because that sets the scene for what we're about to discuss here. Okay, so the next section now is the vast opportunity. There is a vast opportunity out there, and I just really want to quickly cover the sense of abundance and opportunity. Okay, so employment is changing. Okay, we've seen that technology is changing things, and employment opportunities will change. This is inevitable, though. There is an inevitable march towards evolution and technology and what is eventually improvement, but at the time people don't see it as such. There were the famous Luddites that didn't want their sewing machines made automated. There were the horse and carts. Previously they thought Paris would be buried under horse manure prior to the car coming out. Now they are talking about living allowances where people don't actually have to work because society is so productive that people would just get a living allowance. And also, I want to stress that people are having a infinitely improving quality of life, okay? As the centuries pass, as the millennia pass, humanity really is vastly improving for all, okay? In terms of employment, the norms of employment really are evolving, okay? There are 7 billion potential employees on the planet, okay? At the moment, there's only about 1 or 2 billion people online, actively engaged online. And of course, there are education levels to consider as well. But I want you to change your mindset from, employing people in your own hometown or your own country, because really there is a far bigger talent pool out there, okay? Already, you probably have a potential talent pool of about 1 billion people, 1.5 billion people. And, you really need to look around, base it on a meritocracy, not where people are sitting or where they were born, okay? There are 3 billion people on the planet today earning under $2.50 a day. That is super sad, and that really has to change. And the good thing is that it is changing, it is improving, but also that technology bringing down these borders does actually catalyze that change. It helps it happen. So there is a huge talent pool out there, okay? India has 9 million graduate students every year, and the Philippines has 500,000 graduate students every year. So, again, I want to put this in perspective that if you're employing in your hometown, then there's probably a huge amount more opportunity to look beyond your town lines. So nowadays, as is apparent to most of you, I imagine that 90% of business is online, even if you're a plumber, okay? Even if you're mowing the lawn for someone, still a lot of your business is online. Maybe now your accounting is done online. Most likely you would have a website. So much of the business is either done online or in front of a computer, okay, back in an office. Bear that in mind for the webinar coming through. Employment is changing, and when you look at the potential to employ from further afield, from offshore and outsource, then you've got to realize that they are just the same people. Okay, you'll be employing people based on a meritocracy, so they'll have good qualifications. They will be the same people that you're hiring, just sitting in a different location. Okay, but you can save 70% on staffing costs, and 70% is one of our taglines. But the saving costs are vast. You'll be shocked at the prices you can pay people, and so that those people are super thrilled by their salary. But it isn't just about saving costs, okay? This is not about, a sort of conservative, let's see how boring we can be and let's wind down our costs. This is about driving innovation and growth for your business. This is about a game changer for your business and outcompeting and out-strategizing your competitors. So also what I want you to consider is that big companies have been outsourcing for 20 to 30 years now. It is the SMEs that have been left behind, and it is only now, as a result of the democratization of outsourcing, that it is accessible to people such as yourselves. And I am saying, grab this opportunity with both hands. Okay, the big conglomerates, the big corporates have been getting wealthier by the day, and it's the big companies that have access to the far more efficient, higher margin activities. So now it's available to you, to the SMEs, and I want you to jump on this opportunity. Finally, and it's really critical to acknowledge this, but outsourcing is a win-win. Okay, it is a win for you, for your company, but also your community. There is a fear that outsourcing creates job loss in your community. This is not the case. Outsourcing creates more affluent companies. It allows your company to specialize. It allows your company to concentrate on core skills, core activities, and it allows your company to better serve your customers. That creates a stronger, healthier company, which creates a stronger, healthier staff base, more educated staff base. Then it creates a stronger, healthier community, city around it. Of course, the company pays more taxes, so it develops a stronger, healthier country. It is a win-win. It is, of course, a win-win for the outsourced country as well. There is a fear that outsourcing is slave labor. This is absolutely not the case. Really, the people certainly in the Philippines, they are absolutely thrilled to get into the outsourcing world because typically they would be paid 50 to 100% more than their peers in the normal industry. They are working in good environments. There is no kind of sweatshop environments, and they have a career ladder in front of them which progresses them through a white-collar career and continually upskills them. Outsourcing for both parties, for everyone involved, really is a win-win. Right, so let's get on. So implementation. This is the nuts and bolts of the webinar. First of all, we'll just take a few comments. Okay, Caroline, yes, it really is a good salary. So Caroline asks, how good is the salary for the locals? It really is a fantastic salary. Generally, you will find that outsourcing pays double. Well, that's not true. 50 to 100% more than what people could get in their local industry. Okay, it really is a fantastic opportunity. And Damien asks if you can really save 70% on staff costs. Yes, I absolutely guarantee you that the face value of salaries and even including office housing can be very commonly a 70% saving. It doesn't generally work out to a net saving of 70% though, because you have different structures. Generally they need more of a hierarchy, but certainly you should aim for kind of a 30 to 50% net saving on your outsourcing processes or department or staffing. Okay, so we're moving on. Thank you for your questions, guys. Please keep them coming. I will go through all of the questions and respond to them. So please keep your questions coming. And of course, we have the Q&A at the end. So moving right along, implementation. So let's start with moonshots, not cost savings. I want you to think about moonshots, not cost savings, okay? This means that, and for those that are unaware, I think Google popularized the term in terms of moonshots. It basically means, shooting for the moon with your business ideas, with anything really, anything in life, but in this case, business. So what I want you to do is realize that human capital is your business, okay? With no humans, there is no business. That applies to your staffing, but also your clients, We're all humans here, so we cannot forget the human element. So what happens if you have an enhanced supply of qualified staff at half the price, okay? Humans are the critical aspect of your business. So if you can actually access that human resource for 50 to 70% discount, just think the opportunities that presents. So on that note, I give you homework. This is called the Moonshot exercise. So it's really quick. I want you to write down 10 ideas that you have, your moonshots, if staffing cost was 0. Okay, this is a hypothetical exercise, so don't get too freaked out. But what if staff cost nothing and you were able to hire an army of 10,000 people to push your company forward, to out-strategize your competitors? What would you do? Okay, write down 10 ideas. What teams would you build? What lead generation strategies would you employ? What are your sales strategies? How would you can even employ people to look at cost minimizing processes. What product development would you do? What moonshots? Okay, so these are all kind of operational things, but what would you add to your business that you previously couldn't even consider adding? And even what experts would you access if previously they weren't affordable to you? So write that down. I want you to write down 10 ideas. This should hopefully get you really excited about the potential of outsourcing for your business. Outsourcing isn't free, but as soon as you realize that you can get access to cheaper resource, then it really opens up the hugest potential for you and your business. Okay, moving right along. So we have know your business, know your needs. Now, how do we do this? How do we implement outsourcing into your business? How do you know how to do it? Okay, so there are some easy processes to do this, and we can obviously work through these with you. And we mentioned this a little bit further down in the webinar, so I won't dwell on it too much now. But what effectively you need to do is you need to know yourself, your business first. Okay, you need to look at your org chart, you need to look at your strategic plan, and then you want to identify which processes you want to keep in-house versus taking them out-house. You want to identify whether they are ongoing projects or processes or operations, or whether they are one-off projects, okay, like a web build-out. You also need to know, or certainly we need to know, or you need to know about your business in terms of the size of your business, the maturity of your business, the ability to delineate processes within your business. Just as a sideline, okay, and then as you fill in these things, you get to know your business, and then effectively who you hire, how you hire them, and from whom you hire them actually becomes more clear, okay? As you go through these processes, and we can take you through them, but we also provide some handouts after this webinar, that it will become clear how you outsource and how it best fits your business. Just as a little bit of background, outsourcing has really typically only been available to the big multinational conglomerates. The reason for this is that, historically infrastructure costs were very high, but also outsourcing used to be very process oriented. That's why it's commonly referred to BPO, which is business process outsourcing. And because of this, it was more suited to the big conglomerates like Dell or IBM or General Electric, where they would have 5,000 people in an accounts department doing highly repetitive, highly mundane, highly standardized processes. When you have that happening, when there's a high or big delineation between processes within a business, and there's kind of a big chunk of people doing that one process, then you can outsource that process very easily. Effectively, you can cut that process out of your business and take it overseas and replicate it for a fraction of the cost. Now, outsourcing has become more available to SMEs, to small businesses, because of the reducing costs in technology and the enablement of technology. But smaller businesses work differently to these big conglomerates in that they need staff that are different. They need more broader staffing skills. They need more skilled staffing typically, and they need more generalists. So, these are considerations to have when you are looking for an outsourcing strategy. I would assume that most businesses, certainly maybe you guys listening out there, you wouldn't have 10 staff in a room doing one thing highly repetitively. You might need very dynamic, very generalist, very skilled staff behind you. Now, that is all available in outsourcing. That is relatively a new development, but in the last 5-10 years, there's really been a huge pivot and an upskilling, certainly in the Philippines, but also other outsourcing destinations, to provide so that SMEs can find the generalists and highly skilled staff that they need. Okay, so moving right along, the next section is start today, ready, aim, fire, okay? So there are a lot of reasons why people don't outsource, and, there's, I'll just go through these, but effectively there's friction to outsourcing. It's maybe just not on your radar, okay? Outsourcing is kind of an operational back-end thing, or certainly people can perceive it as that. So, your business is probably going fine, and it's just maybe your interest is peaked, but then you just say, well, it's a little bit of an unknown to me, so I'll put that off and work on it tomorrow. And really what I want to encourage people to do is just start outsourcing, because it can change your life. It really can. It's incredible. It's really one of the most transformative things you can do to your business. So without dwelling too much on this, I just want to run through these things. Reasons why people don't outsource. Okay, fear factors. Typically when you outsource, it's to third worlds or developing worlds. The Philippines has Duterte as president, which fills people with a lot of uncertainty. He's a little bit kind of potentially radical. In a lot of these outsourcing destinations, there's instability and corruption. Okay, then there's uncertainty. Okay, so that's the fear. Then there's uncertainty. There's uncertainty that you're outsourcing to different cultures. There's different languages to deal with. There's different time zones. And then there's unknowns, okay? There's, how do you set up? How do you start outsourcing? Who are you going to be dealing with? Do you need to incorporate a business in whatever country you're going to? Do you need to lease an office? How do you hire staff? How do you pay them? All of these kind of unknowns that just basically increase the friction and, kind of make people put it off, basically. So what I'm saying is it's easy. So let's look at fear. To fear, I say no problem. It is easy, okay? To uncertainty, I say it's easy, okay? Really is. And to the unknowns, all those little kind of pesky unknowns, all of those are done for you. They really are. So, let's explore this a little bit. The biggest issue is the knowledge gap, okay? And what I want to get across to you, if nothing else today, is outsourcing is an incredible opportunity, and it is basically all done for you. There is 30 years now experience of outsourcing in the Philippines. The Philippines, I call it like the Swiss banking of outsourcing. There's 30 years experience, and what they have learned in that time is that they need Western standards, they need Western processes, and if they're going to attract SMEs, and this is a relatively new development, if they're going to attract small companies, they need flexible terms, they need turnkey solutions, and they need clear and refined processes and models so that people can dip in, so that they can try things. All of this is now here in the Philippines, and it's in outsourcing. Okay, it is now so easy. There will always be that knowledge gap until you dip your toe in, and then you will realize actually it's super simple and the rewards are phenomenal. Okay, so let's move on. Right, I have a top tip for you. Okay, so I want you to start today. Hire someone today. If you haven't done this already, do this. Hire a virtual assistant. I would recommend that you hire one full-time. You can probably even get a virtual assistant for $300-400 a month. If you can't afford that, try some Upwork contractor work, get a bookkeeper, get little jobs done. Now, this is more about educating you, not the VA or the person. It is a little bit different working remotely. I do want to hesitate and warn you that potentially, Upwork and Freelancer, these contract sites now, they're kind of filled with a lot of potentially low caliber people. So if you do go on there, make sure you pay relatively well. But I just want to get you used to the concept of outsourcing, used to working with people remotely. And the best thing you can do is basically take action. Okay, the costs are relatively minimal, and you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to get a lot of insight. Okay, so moving right along, this is paradox of choice. So how do you decide? There is a huge amount of choice out there in terms of BPO service providers. First, you have to figure out what you need from outsourcing, what you think you need, and then how do you choose which outsourced service provider you go with. It's super important. At the end of the day, we're doing this to make operations more smooth, to save money, and to build opportunities. So, you need to make sure that you partner with the right outsourcing partner. And it really does become a partnership, okay? Because you are effectively co-managing a team of staff with these people. So it's highly critical who you organize yourself with. So there's options galore. There's, I'll very quickly go over this, but it's on the slide, but there's basically Upwork and Freelancer for your kind of remote staff and VAs and contract worker. There's contract agencies. There's now co-working spaces in these developing countries, such as the Philippines. There's seat leasing, and within that, there is opaque and transparent pricing. There's staff leasing. There's then full business process outsourcing, which is the more traditional full service model. And you can, of course, when you're outsourcing, incorporate your own company, get your own office, and that is referred to as captive outsourcing. So a lot of options, and of course, we can help you look through these. So if you want to go through this process, then here is more homework for you. If you want to know how to outsource, if you want to figure out who you are to bring into your business, what roles you want to do, then work through this exercise, and we will provide you with the links at the end. But effectively, it is a org chart and a function chart. Okay, we get you to do that, and also a strategic plan. And so that then it's easy to split out the processes. It's easy to split out the nature of the tasks. It's easy to split out whether it's a core function of the business or a secondary function or a tertiary function. And it's easy to identify whether they're project-based or operationally based. When you do this, it's easier to define the roles and the number of people that you need and also then you need to define your appetite for expansion, define the amount of help that you want, and then with all of that, you're able to more clearly find the model, the outsourcing model, pricing and flexibility that suits you, okay? So it's a bit of a process you go through. Of course, Outsource Accelerator can help you with that, but also, all of the resources are there so that you can make a start on this. As a rule, service provision starts with kind of high autonomy, low cost, and then it goes to very high support and higher cost. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that higher cost is a lesser result. Now, of course, all of us should be focused on results as opposed to just the face value. But the different outsourcing models that I mentioned before pretty much fit within this higher support, lower support, higher autonomy, lower autonomy, higher price, lower price sort of quadrant. Okay. Again, we can help you with this. Although if you want to just shop around, then go to our website and there's a huge amount of resources there. I see Darren said, how do you decide? Thanks, Darren. There are a huge amount of resources out there. We have about 500 BPOs listed in our BPO directory, so go and check that out. You can obviously reach out to any of those. We have a lot of blog articles and guides. We have over 100 podcasts now available for you to listen to, and we talk with various BPOs. And of course, reach out to the BPOs. Ask some questions and get in touch with them, and you will eventually find your fit. Of course, we have our outsource activation consultation program, and we can work through these things with you so that you have a tailored solution for your business. But again, all of the resources are out there if you want to do this on your own. Okay, so what is the $100,000 conversation? I refer to this as effectively a hurdle from getting more people from starting outsourcing. It really is my mission to encourage and educate and support more SMEs into outsourcing. Business owners such as yourselves, even if you're in a startup phase, you really should consider outsourcing because it is one of the most transformative things you can do for your business. It really is that incredible. So why aren't more people doing it? Okay, there are barriers there. Let's just look at the nature of entrepreneurs and business owners. They're generally busy, they're multitasking, they're commonly impatient. They want answers, they want fast track processes, they want results, not necessarily learning. And also, if things aren't broken, these busy people, if things aren't broken, then why fix them? And that can apply to outsourcing. Now, the $100,000 conversation comes in when you take that step and you investigate outsourcing. You pick up the phone and you have a talk to a BPO service provider. Really, the conversation you have with them will then evolve into a $100,000 pitch, effectively, from them. And how do I come to that figure? It might be shocking to you that, that then sounds scary. So I refer to it as $100,000 because basically any BPO, if they talk to you, they're generally going to be wanting a commitment from you of 2 to 3 seats and a 1 to 2 year commitment, a contractual commitment or otherwise. And when you add up, when I refer to seats, I mean people, I mean the seat cost plus the salary cost, and then a 1 to 2 year commitment for those 2 to 3 seats, you are looking at $100,000 commitment or thereabouts. Okay, so it's a big conversation to have. And also, when you have that conversation, if you commit with a BPO with one specific person, then it's also a fairly sticky decision. It's almost like marriage before dating because it's relatively hard to move BPO service provider once you've made a decision. If you get your staffing in place with one BPO service provider, it's generally quite difficult, if not just a little bit of annoying, to switch out into another service provider. Now, there are things you can do to mitigate these concerns, and of course, we can advise you on those. to ensure that if you want to move out or transfer out, then it's made a lot easier. But generally in the market, there's a lack of independent information. I do provide this diagram, infographic of the outsourcing implementation cycle, okay? And there is like many things in sales, there's awareness, familiarity, and engagement stage. And when you approach a BPO, there's just really not the support you need to make a good, comfortable decision. So we're going to zoom through this now. I want to kind of lift the tone a little bit and show you more of the excitement. Okay, this can get a little bit technical, but let's give you a taste of success, because I believe this is super transformative and it really can change your business. So I believe, and I stand by this, that you can save on face value 50% of your staffing costs. Easily 70% on face value, but then when you add up the extra costs and all that, there are additional structural considerations, but you can save 50% on your staffing costs. So if we look at this, a sort of average or small SME, I suppose you could say, at 10 staff at $5,000 per month in the West is $50,000 per month. Okay, that is your cost base. You can save $25,000 per month. Okay, that's pretty big. So what I'm suggesting is that you've come this far, you've listened to me. So what I am suggesting is don't stop here. Consider outsourcing. If you want to have a look at what you can potentially save, we have an outsourcing savings calculator. Type in a few numbers. The link is here. We will put the link at the end of the webinar. And just type in a few numbers and see what you can save. It kind of calculates the savings specific to your business, specific to the skill sets, and specific to the sector of business that you're in. So it's a fantastic calculator. And another homework task, if you're keen, what I suggest is, start now. Get in touch. Just call a couple of BPOs, okay? And just try calling them. They're nice people, or email them, or whatever you want to do. Explore your outsourcing chat. Explore, do your processes like I've suggested above, so that you sound knowledgeable, so that you go in there knowing what you want. Go in there knowing what kind of service provider structures are out there, and then compare provisions and prices and quality and deliverables and things like that. And very quickly, I think you can get comfortable with outsourcing. So again, there are over 500 BPOs listed on our site. Reach out to a few of them, see what they offer and the variation in terms of their offerings. That would be some fantastic homework for you to start you on this outsourcing journey. Arnold is asking where the calculator is on our website. It is on our website. I will put the link at the end of this webinar. Okay, so it's all there, and it is a good calculator. We will just move on now. But so where to from here? Thank you, Arnold, for that question, by the way. Where to from here? If you are interested in outsourcing, you have a lot of options in terms of consulting. Okay. You can go to management consultants. The big hitters in society are sort of IBM, KPMG, there's PwC, there's BCG, and all of these specialized, they kind of have a secret sauce, which actually they don't really tell you about, and generally it's outsourcing. They can slash costs of your business by outsourcing, and that is in many cases much of their secret sauce. But what they don't, it's consistent with the big four, but effectively you will pay $100,000 for a consultation with those guys and structuring services and things like that. They really are the big hitters in town. There are BPO advisors, there are advisories, there are a few BPO brokers, but not many. And then, of course, you can go to BPOs direct and call them up. I really suggest that you do that. But again, just be mindful that you are going to be receiving a sales pitch from them. Okay. So there is another option that I want to discuss with you. Outsource Accelerator. That is us. That's why I'm here. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. It is the Outsource Accelerator Activation Consultation Program. Now, I apologize for the length of that name. I really need to work on shortening that, but it really is a fantastic consultation. We have a special for you. Get $50 off today. Okay, this is valid for 24 hours only, and there will be a link that is valid for 24 hours only at the end of this webinar. Okay, so what is the Outsource Activation Consultation Program? I believe it is the world's leading bespoke outsourcing consultation there is. Okay, this program is designed, it's a highly scalable program, which means that it provides fantastic value for you, for the individual. It gets you 90% of the way there in 1/10 of the time for 1/10 of the cost of a lot of other outsourcing consultations, okay? As I'm an entrepreneur and I know how entrepreneurs think, I know how many business owners think, and basically you don't want all the guff, you just want fast track knowledge and you want the results, okay? If that rings a bell with you, then, stay tuned. We are completely independent, okay? We are not associated with any BPOs. We are not a BPO broker. We are one of the few independent advisors out there, okay? And wait till you see what is in this program. There are basically 6 modules within this program, okay? It takes you from, as I said, novice to expert. It basically introduces you to outsourcing. It lays out the framework of outsourcing. It tells you how to engage with the right provider. It helps you with training and skill development of your new team and selection of that team. It helps you manage a Filipino workforce, and then it helps you with the moonshots and basically exponential expansion of your business. Then, of course, we look at the full potential of outsourcing and take you down that path. But it's not only the content. There are incredible extras within this that make this a bespoke consultation program that will bring you the best results possible, specific to your business. So what does it include? We give 2 one-on-one consultations, okay? We work through your org chart, we work through your strategic plan, and we work through any integration needs you have with BPOs, okay? So we work off various exercises and activities, okay? And we have refined this so that we get the best time with you possible. There are also 3 open office sessions where you are joined by myself and the Outsource Accelerator team, but also the cohort of other people taking the consultation program. So there's a lot of shared experiences and learning. There are 3 open office sessions there that you can join. There's also an exclusive mastermind group, which is a closed group within Facebook that you can join, where there are BPO experts, management and business owners, BPO owners in that group, plus again the cohort and other participants of the consultation program. So a huge amount of shared experience and learning there. Then we have industry expert interviews. So we interview over 12 experts, okay, and give you those interviews, obviously. And we also have a BPO virtual tours. So we really want to give you first-hand experience of exactly what BPOs are like. We not only interview the experts, we then introduce you to those experts. A lot of them are hanging out in the closed Facebook mastermind group, but also we introduce you to those experts so that you have a network on the ground in Manila of some of the business luminaries in the Philippines. So you have a very powerful network. So all of those incredible first-hand experiential activities basically fast tracks your knowledge and gets you incredible results fast. This consultation program is incredibly flexible. You can start it tomorrow, or you can start it next year. You can do it in a day or a week or 2, or you can take your time doing it. It really is up to you. There is incredible first-hand experience here and incredible bespoke consultational value so that we are tailoring advice specific to your needs and your business. This course has at least $4,000 of value. It can add at least $100,000 in value to your business. And we have priced this at $1,297. But of course, you get a $50 discount, so it's even cheaper than that today. Okay, thanks for joining me on this webinar. I am super excited about outsourcing and so grateful that you've spent your time with me. I hope and I know that this can transform your business if only you just take action and begin on the outsourcing journey. I don't know your business specifically, but I know that outsourcing can be applied to 99% of businesses and really have incredible transformative effects. So, start outsourcing, start taking action, do some of this homework, and we are here to support you. The Outsource Activation Consultation Program is available. It's incredible value, and today only we are giving $50 discount if you want to take action now. Okay, it's a flexible program, and it is, I believe, the world-leading program on outsourcing to get you to expert level so that you can make you have the best support for your business and get incredible consultational value so that you can make the best decisions for your business in terms of outsourcing. Really is an incredible opportunity. The link is at the bottom of the page here. And I can only suggest that you take advantage of this great discount today. There are limited spots available, but I certainly look forward to seeing you if you want to take advantage of this. Okay, now we're going to move into the Q&A session. So thank you so much. If you do want to go now, that's absolutely fantastic. And I will start to take some questions now. We'll work through these questions. So Tiffany says, who owns the BPOs? Are they foreign owners? Yes, Tiffany, they can be. There really is a blend. I mean, I'm in the Philippines here. There is a big community of expats living in the Philippines, running and managing outsourcing operations here. There is a huge blend though, and by no means the Western owned and operated BPOs are necessarily the best or certainly necessarily the biggest. There really are incredible, highly sophisticated operations here in the Philippines now, run by both Western owners and management and Filipino owners and management, and also a lot of Indian owners and management as well. But all of them have generally very high Western standards and processes and procedures. And Jesse says, what kind of skills are available in outsourcing? Jesse, good question. Basically anything. Okay, now anything that can be done in front of a computer now can be outsourced. And in the last sort of 5 to 10 years, there's been an incredible explosion in the amount of skills and services available that you can access inside of BPOs. Okay, it really is as broad as anything that can be done in front of a computer. And as you know, that is most things now within daily lives and daily business lives. Very, big sectors are obviously web and development, social media management, digital marketing. All of those kind of digital professions now are very commonly done. There is, of course, customer service and sales. There is a lot of telephone support still. So whether you want to do customer service over telephone or even do outreach, even cold calling of sales, that is all accessible here. Very commonly as well, bookkeeping and accounting services are done here. But I really believe that there's an opportunity for outsourcing to be done, to do almost every function within your business, okay? Just leave the necessary people in your hometown that are dealing face-to-face and geographically have to be there with your clients, but the rest of your operation potentially and ideally should and could be run out of a competent outsourced destination. The opportunity really is fantastic. Okay, and Barry says, are there specialized BPOs or do they all do everything? Yeah, Barry, there is a blend. You do get very specialized verticals. So you very commonly get like call center specialists where they might specialize in outbound sales calls because that is a very kind of niche skill and specialty. You very commonly get web development and maybe coding, companies that specialize in outsourcing either in a project or an ongoing basis. Accounting is a very common vertical, but also you do very commonly get outsourcing that does everything, but they can be specialized in the nature. Okay, so historically BPOs might cater for 5,000 seats doing one role, and in that regard they're not very flexible. Now you can get a BPO that will maybe have 1,000 seats, and within that they would have 1,000 different roles effectively. So you can get immense specialization within generalist BPOs as well, if that kind of makes sense. Sorry, I've kind of jumped around that one. Okay, from Tim, what is the average cost of outsourcing employees? Tim, thank you. That is a good question, but a very difficult question. First of all, there are many different ways to structure outsourcing, but I will break it down like this. There is the employee's salary, and then there is the cost of housing them, or what is basically the outsource service provision cost. Salaries in the Philippines vary between about 15,000 pesos a month up to maybe 100 and 150,000 pesos per month. Okay, so that is, using my maths, that is between about $300 a month and $3,000 a month. For that, you would get very entry level up to, kind of a mid to upper level manager, or like a developer, that kind of thing, like an experienced developer. Then you add on typically a seat leasing cost to that, okay? And that ranges between about 500 US to 1,000 US per month, okay? Now, these are all very big ballpark figures, but what you then have is the salary of about $3,000 to $3,000 a month, and then the seat leasing costs of about $500 to $1,000 a month. What you get for that seat leasing cost, though, is of course the office housing. You get a good workstation for them. You get all of the hardware. You get all of the internet connectivity and the electricity and air conditioning. And I mention that because in the Philippines, good internet connection is very expensive to get, and so is all of the electricity and AC. And then, of course, but you don't just get that, you get structural assistance from the BPO. You often get a lot of guidance and business advice from the BPO, but also they will hire, recruit, and find that person that you're about to work with. Okay, so there's a huge amount of support services that you get from your BPO service provider. So that's a sort of rough overview, I hope, of the costing structure. Okay, so we'll just take one or two more questions. So Terry, thanks Terry for your question, is asking what is the minimum number of hours that you can take with someone in a BPO. So generally BPO service providers require a minimum of one full-time seat. okay, which means one full-time employee. And, based on the pricing that I previously gave you, within a BPO service environment, you could probably get that for about $900 US, okay? And that is all of the services included. Now, BPO service providers are very different to the Upwork and the freelancer model, where you can hire someone for 1 hour or 2 hours a week, or for just a 1 hour project and pay them for that amount. So going with a BPO is more of a commitment, but you get far better service, you get far better consistency, and that person is effectively your staff and, is a part of then your team. So, the difference really is significant. BPOs generally do not accept part-time hours, and very rarely do they have provisions where they allow for a few hours a week. Now, there are some specialist BPO providers, typically they're in the VA or the virtual assistant space, where you can hire blocks of time of virtual assistants, so you can contract to maybe 10 hours a week of virtual assistant time. Those companies, they are out there, they have mixed results because typically you're not actually working necessarily with the same VA all of the time. So you have kind of a shared services thing. Look, there's a lot of different scenarios, but effectively with a BPO, generally they want one full-time seat minimum, and generally also they want a 1 year contract minimum. So thank you for that question. And then from John, finally, thank you for your question. You are saying, who trains the staff and looks after the staff? Now, that's a very good question. I should have actually maybe spent some time on this earlier. When you outsource, effectively, and I did mention earlier that you treat them as you would your own employee. And in fact, outsourcing really shouldn't be considered any different to just standard employment. When you outsource, unless you are within a more traditional BPO setting where it is full business process outsourcing, effectively you will be managing your team. They will be sitting in a different country, in a different location to you, but you will be responsible for training them, for bringing them up to speed, for getting them into the culture of your company, and working and sort of achieving their loyalty. So all of the tacit skills of management come into play with outsourcing, and even more so because outsourcing, there is a distance there is a slight friction. So you actually need to spend a little bit more time with these people in training them and onboarding them. We do actually cover this within the outsource activation consultation, how to get the best out of your workforce and how to onboard and how to recruit people best within outsourcing. So super important. Of course, the outsource service provider is there. They help you recruit, they help you select people, and they will give you a lot of advice in terms of onboarding people. But it really is up to you. And if I can just if you can take one thing away from this, it is basically that you need to spend time with them, treat them like your own team members, treat them like your own staff, and integrate them into your company and your team. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have some incredible takeaways here, and I hope that, if nothing else, you consider outsourcing as a viable and accessible option for your business. And I hope that you maybe take action and just begin this journey of outsourcing. I promise you, you will not look back. It is really transformative. If you do want to take advantage of the activation consultation discount, there is a $50 discount today. And again, the link is in the notes here. That is valid for 24 hours only.